Hello everybody, Demon Red Mist here for another episode of Dave Gets Wood, or should I say Dave Gets Dirty from Cleaning Wood. Right, it's been a week since my last video, and the last video was obviously the one that I did in my apartment after I'd been away for the weekend, and Steve and James had been over for the weekend. And you know what, I am absolutely fucked. I haven't recovered. I mean, it's been 7 days and I've not recovered. My back has been ruined for this whole week. And it's still bad now. My legs are fucked. My hands aren't working properly. I am so tired, it's unreal. It's been an effort just to try and make sure that I eat. And sleeping has not been easy. Getting to sleep at a semi-decent time has not been easy. Like I try and go to sleep and I don't sleep, and then I can sit there, eat my dinner, and 20 minutes later I'm passed out. It's very annoying. And I've not been sleeping comfortable either because of my back and my legs. So today's a tough day, a really tough day, because I know on one of my previous videos I'd mentioned about how on that day I could easily have just said fuck it and staying in bed. Today is even more so than that. And to be honest, I think today is probably one of those days where actually I should have done that. So obviously I've come over to the parents and trying to do a couple of things to help my mum, and I mean she's struggling as it is anyway. And I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm in a good mood or a bad mood. I'm kind of nothing. But without me really realising it, I found myself losing my temper a little bit. Not like really badly, but I was. How would I explain it? I was perhaps a little short and sharp. Like normally I perhaps make a joke out of something daft that my mum might do, whereas today it was just automatic. I wasn't even thinking, it was just automatic. So why the fuck have you done that? And the thing is, I don't like being like that. I hate being like that. So that was at the point where I was like, okay, you know what, today's probably a day where I should have just stayed at home. But at the same time, I'm kind of glad that I didn't, because yes, I'm suffering so much and I can't see me getting much fucking done today. I ain't got the energy. But at least I had the willpower to sort of make myself come out. Now, admittedly, another sign that I probably should have stayed at home is that I very nearly fucking crashed into a car today, or should I say had a car crash into me, which would have been my fault. I went to enter a roundabout, the car in front of me, he entered the roundabout, there was a car sort of semi coming around the roundabout and I thought it was going to turn left. And so I went to go for it and then realised he's not turning off, he's coming around the roundabout. And I wanted to hit the brake, but that's not what I did. I hit the throttle and the clutch, so I didn't really do nothing, and it's probably the first time in a long time where a little bit of panic set in. Thankfully I was able to avoid the collision, but that's one that had it happened, it would have been my fault all day long. I fucked up, and admittedly at that point I was like, right, okay, I need to be aware here, because that's not what I'm usually like. I'm usually so much more aware than that and more responsive than that, and obviously my brain was saying one thing and my feet were doing something completely different. So that's another reason why, yeah, I probably should have stayed at home today. So I ain't going to be cutting anything today, that's for sure. Now, admittedly, because I know that I'm not feeling great, I've already come here with the intention, but obviously the plan was to come here and make a start on the base. And I've literally just given it a little bit of a brush down so I can just give it a little clean and just have a slightly closer look at a few things, like the shelf runners, the back of the unit, and the inside of the unit, just to sort of try and see if I can help make the decision of how much varnishing or staining or varnishing I'm actually going to do on this. And so I've given it a little brush down, but because I've not been feeling too great, I've set myself one task, and if I get that done today, then fine. But seeing as I'm here, that this is my task, and basically it's the shelf that I found last time, or the shelf that I showed. It's just a single. Well, it's okay. It's 3 pieces of wood, but it's basically one flat piece that needs sanding down, cleaning, and a layer of varnish on it. So my aim for today is that, basically. So not a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if I haven't even got the energy to get all that done today. I really don't think I will. But if I can get it sanded down, I'll be okay with that. There is the off chance that once I start doing a little bit, I may get tempted to do something on the base, like sand one bit. But the problem with that is that, for example, if I started sanding the front, I wouldn't be able to leave it half done. That would bug me, and I'd rather not have that frustration. So in a way, I think I'd rather not touch it. But at the same time, I mean, even as I'm sitting here now, I mean, it's right in front of me. I'm looking at it and thinking, it will look better when it's sanded. It will look better when it's sanded. So I'm a little bit, sort of head saying one thing, body saying another. So yeah, I mean, I have also been thinking as well, the table that I brought in, the round one. Now that I've got a little more space because the unit is on top of my work table, it's actually made me think, maybe I could put the round table actually up. I could like put the top back on, and maybe I could clamp the drawers to the round table once I've finished sanding this base unit. And then when it comes to the varnishing side of things, I can put a layer of varnish on the drawers, and while I'm waiting for them to dry, I can put a layer of varnish on the unit, or vice versa. So I could potentially get myself set up to try and speed up the process. So rather than when I'm waiting for something to dry, I haven't really got loads to do, I could get myself in a situation where while I'm waiting for something to dry, I have something else to do. But if I put the tabletop on it, by the time I come back in a week's time, there'll be a load of stuff on it, and I don't really want to put the drawers on it now because I've got a bit of sanding to do, and it's going to make a fucking load of mess. So anyway, well, I've got my plan for today. I have no idea how I'm going to get on with this. I mean, as you can tell, I'm snivelling a bit as well. So I don't know if it's just because I've cleaned this unit and given it a brush and getting affected by the dust a bit, or whether I'm starting to come down with something, and that might be why it's taking me longer to recover. I mean, usually, well, okay, from a semi-active day, usually it takes a few days to recover physically, mentally. Perhaps because it was a sort of 4-day weekend and I pushed myself way beyond the limits that I should have done. Maybe that's why it's taking longer to recover. But I mean, that will be why it's taking long to recover, I reckon. But it means that I'm feeling very useless at the moment. That's not easy. So, yeah. I mean, it's one of the things with forcing myself to come out and sitting here now. It is bugging me now that I am sat here and I'm looking at these bits that need sanding. And if I didn't do something, it would really piss me off. I'd be annoyed, I'd be angry at myself that I had the opportunity, but I didn't do it. So that's why, this is one of the things I've said before as well. Set yourself an achievable task. Don't set yourself an unachievable task. I mean, okay, like this unit, if I just looked at this whole unit at the start of this project and went, I'm going to finish you, that is my goal, then I would have no sense of achievement for a long time. I mean, because this is taking me months. And admittedly, I mean, a professional doing this, okay, they'd probably have it done in a couple of days, right? It's taking me months. So it would be a very long time without a sense of achievement, which is why what I've tried to do all the way along, is have a plan and set myself a goal, an achievable goal. And okay, the goalposts have changed now and again. I've had a plan and change plan and then change plan again and change, but I have to learn that changing plans can be okay, and I have to learn to be okay with that, because admittedly, if it's me changing plans, I tend to be able to be okay with dealing with that change. But when other people change plans that affect me, that can be quite difficult to cope with at times. So learning to cope with change is not an easy thing to do, but I am trying to do as well. But yeah, so having the achievable goals gives you the senses of satisfaction or senses of accomplishment or achievement, and that's one of the things that helps build up confidence and belief in yourself. So it's like, if I did say, right, today I'm going to sand this whole unit, if I don't achieve it, I'm probably going to feel pretty shit. But it's an unachievable goal for the situation today. Whereas if I set the goal of, right, I'm going to get that one piece sanded, that's my goal for today, to get that sanded. A bonus would be to get it also then cleaned and a coat of varnish on it. But my goal is to get it sanded. And once I've achieved that goal, I then may feel good enough to clean it and sand it. I have no goals beyond that for today. So yeah, right, anyway, I suppose I'll better crack on, as a spider is about to climb onto my phone case. No, you've gone around the side of it. Actually, also, something I want to mention actually is, and I didn't mention it I don't think I mentioned it on the previous video. I know I spoke to Steve about this, which was, after the weekend that we had last weekend, which I've said on the video about that it was a really good weekend. I said to him that obviously I was aware that I was going to suffer afterwards. I was aware that Steve was going to suffer afterwards. I wasn't entirely sure about how James would be afterwards, because any issues that James might have are perhaps less directly physical compared to myself and Steve. So I mentioned to Steve that I was a little concerned that after such a high, James might find himself in a bit of a low and might not know why or how to cope with it. And through lows, you can have physical manifestations. I have them as well. I believe James is going through a little bit of a tough time at the moment, so I would want to say to James, if you're watching this, is you might be a bit nuts, but you're not mental, so don't panic. And if you are on a bit of a low, perhaps use this as a learning experience, that sometimes after the highs there are lows, and the trick is to, while you're having that high, understand there may be a low to follow, and try and carry some of that high with you, so that when you're in that low, it reminds you why you're there now. that it was worth it. So yeah, and if that fails, build something. um, but yeah, so I was a little concerned. I am concerned about how James has coped afterwards, because he's a lot like me. I'm a thinker, and obviously you can tell the way I'm talking probably. That things play on my mind, and I mean I can have conversations with people before I've even met them, so that I am prepared for when I meet them. And then when the conversation goes a different direction that I'm not prepared for, I'm fucked. So I mean that's how much I tend to think about things. So yeah. So if you are on a bit of a low at the moment, James, don't panic. I think it's potentially natural. It's a little bit like after hot weather comes rain, comes a storm, or the other one, which is the darkest part of the night is Batman's mask. No, the darkest part of the night is the hour before the dawn. So there you go. Right, okay, I'm going to try and crack on and see how. What I will do actually, I'm going to take a picture of this little piece of wood, because I think when I showed it, it wasn't in the best of light. I've got a bit more light now. Also, I have to apologise, I've got a problem with my nose. It's not a spot. I've just been picking my nose. No, there. I've peeled skin off my nose. It's not good. So yeah, it's not just a big fucking blackhead. It's not a new nose. Anyway, so yeah, I will take a picture of this piece to show before sanding, after sanding, and potentially after having a coat on it. But to be fair, it's already about 5:30 in the afternoon. I've been here a couple of hours already over in the house, just talking to my mum and dad. I've done nothing. So yeah, I ain't going to be here long, because it's going to start getting a little bit cold. So yeah. Right, let's crack on. Right, a little bit of an update. I have sanded, cleaned, and put a layer of varnish. I've literally just finished. That's why it's looking a little red and shiny. On the shelf, you will see there's a lot of scratches on this, and it looks a little bit patchy. But to be honest, it's because the varnish is still drying, and I haven't done a really thick layer. Yeah, so I've not done a thick layer. I've only done a very light. Well, I think I've done a very light layer. But I'm fucked. I'm absolutely fucked. Okay, so sanding it was. So I'm just trying to adjust the camera a little bit. Sanding it was a little bit awkward. Well, it's more than a little bit awkward. But yeah, sanding it showed up a lot of the scratches and stuff. But as I've said a lot of times now, this is not new, and I don't want it to look new. So I could have sat there over the next, couple of weeks sanding it to clear out all the scratches and all that shit. But A, I ain't got the energy, and B, it's old, so they're staying. I mean, there were some dark patches on it where there must have been some kind of fluid. Well, I don't know whether it be oil or paint or glue. There was something on there. Those things I have got off, but yeah, the scratches I'm not going to do. Now I'm sitting here looking at it now, and the actual trim of see if I can get a picture of it or get it on the video. Hang on. Okay, so looking at it from where I am, you can see that the trim on either end, on the left and right side, is darker than the actual main face, and that's because I have spent an extra little bit of time making sure that the ends are nicely coated for a couple of reasons. One, they're going to get worn a bit, and two, to try and kind of go with the style of the rest of the unit. Yeah, so like with the drawers where the edges of the drawers are going to be darker, or the front's going to be darker than the sides, then that I'm hoping is going to be quite similar, where the trim on the ends is going to be a little bit darker. So basically, I wouldn't say they've had two coats. I've probably just put a little bit extra on while I was doing it. So like I said, the main piece has only had a very light coating of varnish. So I'm not overly worried about the difference in colour on those at the moment, but I am absolutely fucking knackered. I managed to get the sanding done, and I was like, well, you know what, if I can get a coat of varnish, a lot like with the some of the drawers I've had, where if I can get a layer of varnish on it, then that's a layer of varnish done. That can then be put to one side. Unit's next. How many times have I said that? The unit is next. But it is now. The next thing to sand is the unit. There's nothing else to sand before that. I'm not even going to consider starting that today. I don't know what the time is now. I don't know how long has passed, but I'm a broken man. And the difficulty with, for example, today, is I haven't recovered from the previous weekend, so just coming out and doing a little bit today is going to set me back. And this is where things are going to get real tough now. And it doesn't help either that I went to do a repeat prescription online for my medication because I'm on antidepressants. And to be honest, my dosage doubled on Christmas Eve. It was advised, or at least that's the doctor, that's what he put my prescription to, so it doubled on Christmas Eve to help me get through Christmas. And I stuck with that dosage for about 4 weeks, but it made me very ill. I was not in a good state at all, mentally or physically. So I personally halved my dosage. I went back to what I was on before, and literally instantly within 2 or 3 days, I started feeling the benefit of not being on the higher dosage. And I'd not been back to see the doctor yet. I figured, well, when I ask for a repeat prescription, I will ask if they can put it to the 100, and figured if they've got a problem with it, they'll ask the doctor. I don't know if they did ask the doctor, but they did the prescription, and I got a repeat on that as well. So I thought everything would be okay, but I went to do a repeat prescription Saturday. It's Monday now, bank holiday Monday. So I went to do it on Saturday online, and there was a notice there saying we cannot, or you cannot have a repeat prescription until you have had a review of your medication with your clinician, which could be a GP or a nurse. So now I'm like, fucking hell. Because as I mentioned on the very first video of these, you don't get a doctor's appointment within 7 days. And I've only got 4 days worth of medication. Now, on the times where I have forgotten or think I've forgotten to take my medication, it's not nice. The come down is not nice at all. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to the next week. I've got a doctor's appointment. That's in 7 days' time. But I'm thinking of seeing if I can go into the chemist over the next couple of days and see if I can sort it with them or if I do need to go and see the doctor. Because I'm not looking forward to having no medication for a few days. But if I am going to be without medication for a few days, I've got to prepare for that. And when you add on that I haven't recovered from last weekend, today is going to hurt, this is going to set me back, and no medication, yeah, the end of this week is not going to be very nice. So I'll say this now, if in these following days I'm an arsehole to anybody that doesn't deserve it, I mean, if I'm an arsehole to you and you deserve it, then fuck you. But if I'm an arsehole to you and you don't deserve it, then I apologise. So yeah, I mean, I've got to prepare for it. And I've kind of got two options. One is take my medication for the next 3 days and then go 4 days without. Another one is don't take my medication tomorrow, then take it the day after, then don't take it the day after that, and then so alternate my days on and off until Monday. Now, it is possible that my medication will be changed. The specific tablet will be changed, because I have read or heard in the news over the last couple of months of a couple of people dying from taking this particular medication, but it's high dosage of medication, and I think in one case they had a heart attack, which was deemed to be due to the high dosage. Which did make me wonder. I was like, I wonder if that's why I felt so awful. From literally, it was from, was it Christmas Eve? My dosage went up from literally Christmas night, Boxing Day. I was ruined. I was an absolute fucking mess, and I was like that for a month. So I wonder whether it was a really bad side effect of the medication. So it's possible that the medication wants to be reviewed because of these problems, but more than likely it's to be reviewed because I've been on them a while, and because I personally reduced my dosage. I can't imagine my doctor is going to have a problem with me reducing the dosage. If I'd have asked for it to go up, then yeah, maybe, but to reduce it, But I have been much better on the smaller dose than I have the bigger dose. I've been able to, for the most part, be in control of my thoughts, and be not necessarily be productive, be proactive, rather than doing absolutely fucking nothing and just getting miserable and depressed. And I think today has probably been the first day in a while where I have felt miserable and depressed and in agony and don't give a shit kind of attitude. And I don't like feeling that way. Actually, no, you know what? I think it was creeping in yesterday, actually. Would it be yesterday? No, thinking about it, Thinking about it, it's been creeping in a few days now. I think back, I was doing, me and Steve needed to re-record the race footage from the DGT League race from Monza, because although we recorded it the night of the race, after the race, unfortunately found out that Steve's microphone was picked up, so it needed to be re-recorded. So basically what we decided to do was one of us would watch it and the other would record, and so we'd watch the previous recording. So rather than having to do it all over again, we'd just watch the previous recording where we'd done all the hard work, and one tells the other, right, go to position 4, go to position 5, whatever it may be. So it's pretty much an identical recording to make it easier. But thinking back, I was a little bit snappy with Steve that day. But it weren't Steve's fault, it was my own, really, because in my mind I was going at I actually said to him, I was like, look, you need to slow down, you're going at 100 mile an hour, I'm in reverse. so I was struggling to keep up with things then, and I was a little snappy then thinking about it. Um, so yeah, it has been. That would have been, when would that have been? Friday, I think. Yeah, that was Friday, and we did the commentary Sunday, um, and I did find it difficult to do the commentary. I wasn't as perhaps as verbal or as um, like free flowing as I usually am. I did find myself on a number of occasions saying something and then basically sitting there thinking, I don't know what to say. Now that could be because I was the one that recorded the second recording, so I'd seen everything. And this is one of the things that I've said to the guys that we're doing the commentary. I want when I commentate on it for it to be the first time that I see it. Um, but with the having to do the re-recording, decided like it doesn't really matter. But I think it did have an effect. But anyway, I have been getting a little. Thinking back, I have been getting a little bit worse over the last few days, and I've been getting a little bit more snappy. And building up. So maybe it's tied in with knowing that I'm going to be without medication, with everything else. I don't know. But yeah, it's not been the easiest few days, and I mean even like yesterday and today, or even Saturday actually. Saturday, yesterday, and today, it's like time has just gone. It's like was it Saturday? I was doing a few things on the computer and I happened to look up and I was like, fuck me, it's dark. What's the time? 9:20? What the fuck? Hadn't even had my dinner. I don't think I got my dinner until like 3 o'clock in the morning, which doesn't help. Or was that Friday? That might have been Friday because I think I had a Chinese. That's right, because I had a Chinese on Saturday because I thought, I haven't got the energy to cook. Fuck it, I'm getting a Chinese in. And then last night, I haven't got the energy to cook. Fuck it, I'll have a curry. Which some people may see as it being, oh, you're splashing out, you're treating yourself. No, I physically didn't have the ability to stand there, think of what I was going to cook, and then cook it. So I went with the easier option. But yeah, I mean, time has just been disappearing, and before I know it, it's like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm not getting a lot of sleep, and waking up feeling absolutely fucking pig rough. So yeah. Anyway, right, I'm gonna finish here today because, as you may be able to physically see, I don't look my normal self of recent videos or forks. So yeah, I'm done. I'm gonna pack up and go. Well, I'm gonna pack up, go and spend a bit of time with the dogs because they've been so excited to see me today. Because I've not seen them since I was here last weekend. They were so excited to see me today. Unfortunately, George jumped up at me while I was sort of crouching down, tying something up for my mum, and George, just being friendly, just sort of jumped on me and scratched me back. It hurt. When he wasn't trying to hurt me, it was completely accidental, but it hurt. So I put them in their doghouse until, I mean, George, he knew from my reaction that it hurt me. And he's obviously been fine since. And to be fair, thinking about it, what was it I did? I've been working a lot on getting him to stay and not move, and there's been occasions where they wouldn't particularly, for example, stay if they can get to you. Sometimes they'll sneak up on you, but once I'd let him out of the pen, George was very obedient, and I think that was him realising, oh shit, I'd done something bad there, and he was doing exactly as he was told, which is a good thing. So I'm probably going to go and spend a little bit of time with the dogs, because I'm excited to see them. I always am. But it's just sometimes when they get a little bit too excited and too jumpy, when I'm like I am now, where everything hurts, they can hurt me when normally it wouldn't hurt. And it's not their fault. Um, it's not my fault either. It's no one's fault. It's just sometimes shit happens. Anyway, so yeah, I'm going to go and spend some time with the dogs, and then make my way home and eat the rest of my leftover curry from last night. So yeah, have a good one, and hopefully next week I'll be a little bit more proactive and we can make a start on this base unit. Have a good one. See you later.